Hey, what's going on? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Snow. MusicandMascara.com. How's it going? So we are out here at the lake in Georgia, and I wanted to share with you. I'm a beginner RVer, obviously. I've only owned this thing for 3 weeks, and I'm already kind of figuring out some stuff. When we talk about RV essentials, like when you buy an RV, they tell you to buy all this stuff. Some places include it with it, some places don't. I'm kind of glad they didn't include some of this stuff because I wanted some nicer stuff, if that makes sense. I'm going to give you kind of my RV essentials kit. Like if you're going out for the first time, some stuff you should have with you. If you think there's stuff that I'm missing or stuff that I should add to this or stuff that you use and you're more experienced than me, obviously, then put it in the comments because, I'm always learning. But we're going to talk about a few things, and there's going to be a couple of videos where we actually dive into some of this a little bit more specifically. I think we should start with poop. That's the business end of the motorhome on the other end. So let's go talk about where everything comes out and goes in. So the next thing is going to be water. You see this water hose laying on the ground? There's a reason why it's laying on the ground, and there's a reason why I'm not using it, and I'll show you why. Okay, so the reason the white water hose is laying on the ground is because I replaced it with this here one, the 0G, really super flexible and really packable, and you don't have to wrestle it around when it's cold, and even when it's not cold. This thing is so stiff and annoying. So this is basically like my backup hose and has kind of become my garden hose. So in the water section, obviously, there's a few things you want to talk about. One is the water hose, so that you can either go from your tank fill or your city water fill to the water. But on the other end of that hose, it's real important to have a pressure regulator, because all these plastic fittings and this PEX tubing and stuff in a motorhome is not super strong. You don't want to run 65 pounds of pressure through it. So I think this one is rated at like 45 or 50 pounds. And so we put that on the head end of any time I hook up water. The next component in a row here is a water filter. So this is just a cheap water filter that goes on here mostly just for particulates. When you use these for the first few minutes, make sure you rinse them out because they got like charcoal in them and it makes your water weird for a second. And a lot of people would say, well, how come you have this water filter on your hose when you have this water filter that's filtering your whole coach? Here's the problem, is that this thing doesn't filter everything. And so having these two back to back is killer, because this thing filters systems that this thing does not, because you're filtering entire everything all at once. And it's cheap insurance. It's like $20 and it lasts like 3 months or whatever. I need to actually put the date on it with a Sharpie. So pressure regulator, water filter, killer water hose, and that's the water department. I do keep some rubber gloves because as we go to the next section, I will show you. There's black water tanks and gray water tank pulls in here because there's a black water dump right here, but my coach actually has 2 black water tanks and 2 gray water tanks. So I'm going to show you where I keep all the poop stuff. Okay, so here is the gross stuff. The other cabinet that I just showed you, storage that I just showed you, has a black tank and a gray tank dump in it also. But my motorhome has 2. So we have a full bath back here, and we have a half bath up there. For those that are not familiar, the gray tank, the gray handle right here, is going to give you anything that's not a toilet. So your shower, your sinks, and in our case, our washing machine hookup. Black is only for poop. Keep an extra hose for flushing this. There's like a little sprinkler system in here. Don't use your water hose. So there's a separate hose that's a different color that I use for flushing this out so that you don't get any weird buildups and stuff like that in there. And then of course our sewer hoses. I have 2 sewer hoses for length purposes, just in case. And then the other thing I have is, this is for flushing my hot water heater, because whoever owned this before did not do a good job of that, and I had to flush the hot water heater already and change the anode and do a bunch of work on the hot water heater. So these are really cheap. This is all not very expensive stuff, but it's what keeps you prepared. That's the end of poop. We need to power this thing. It's a 50 amp coach, so it's got a big old 50 amp cable. I definitely would recommend, and I have it because we have a lot of expensive electronics, obviously with cameras and stuff like that, and also your air conditioners, your refrigerator, all that kind of stuff, man. You don't want to have any kind of power surges or any kind of crazy stuff. So a surge guard, surge protector, you don't have to buy like a super crazy one, but get one that's good. This surge guard, everything I read about them says they're awesome. It was like 120 bucks or something like that. And because it's 120 bucks, there's a little loop on it. And so I bought a bunch of these cables for, locking up various stuff. So you can lock the surge protector to the cable so it doesn't get stolen, because that's a possibility. And this is probably one of my favorite gadgets that I bought so far. And I don't know if it's 100% a necessity for everybody, but I really am super anal about tire safety. That's on motorcycles, that's on bicycles, that's on cars, that's on anything. And when you're 22,000 pounds, it's really, really important to keep up on tires and weigh them coach correctly, set the tire pressure correctly, and check it every time you go somewhere. Having to put 100 pounds of air in the tires of a motor coach, your normal gas station stuff just doesn't do it. So the Viair RV 450 compressor is a thing that I bought for that purpose. You can buy cheaper ones, you can buy lower priced Viair ones, but I found after doing a bunch of research and adding it up and understanding what accessories came with what kits and extra hoses and everything, because I'm 38 feet long, and so having enough hoses, it was just worth it to buy this. It was not cheap, but it's cheap insurance when it comes to the maintenance. And now I'm out here at a national park, and I don't have any way to check tire pressure or even put air in my tires unless I have this with me. So this to me is one of the most important things that I did. There's all kinds of other stuff. We're going to be making more videos. I think we did one. If you haven't seen it already, maybe you'll see it soon. Leslie talks about some of the essential stuff that she's using for inside to make daily life inside better, because this is where we live now. So if you have any suggestions or stuff, maybe stuff we missed, maybe we did it but I just didn't think of it to put it in the video, put it in the comments. If you have any questions about it, I'm going to actually do like a full review of this thing. We're going to do a full breakdown of the Viair system. And we've got a different video about our WineGuard wireless system. We've got some other videos coming out too, but I'm going to do a separate video about this. I think it's really cool. If you have any questions about it, let me know. My name is Dylan. This has been Music and Mascara, and this is just some of the essentials that are keeping us going. We're beginners, so we're just figuring it out. But this is like stage one stuff that I wanted to have right away. Make sure you check out patreon.com/musicandmascara. Make sure you check out our Facebook page and our Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you soon. Oh, we'll put links to all this stuff in the description below. If you use them on Amazon, that would be killer, because it does help us out just a little bit. It doesn't cost you anything to do so. So I appreciate that, and we'll see you soon.